Welcome back to the market right here on ET Now, and let me welcome Chandan Taparia as well on the show. Hi Chandan, a very good morning, and firstly help us with your outlook on the benchmark indices, because just on Friday we have seen a bit of a sell-off coming in. How's the setup looking like for the Indian markets this particular week?
Yeah, good morning, Snehi. The market has got stuck in a range. Sasti, good morning. Market has got stuck in a range. We have noticed that supports are intact, but follow-up is missing at higher levels. The good part is that Nifty formed a bullish candle on the weekly chart, but at the same time, the sustained supply is clearly visible. The only concern which I see as of now is the FIIs long-short ratio on the index is below 8%, which is near to historical low levels. But the good part is the market is holding the key moving averages, so I believe the broader trading range need to be applied here. As of now, the major support for index goes at 24,442, major hurdle at 25,000. So we have to deal with this 500 points trading range in the market as of now. However, the bank Nifty might see some underperformance, but selective sector from auto or metal could be the flavor during the day.
Right. Could I just want to get in a check on banks, because we were talking about this one, right? Led by ICICI Bank, the fact that they've gone a little bit sideways. Of course, in pockets, there were some pressure points as well from large cap banks, whereas NBFCs like Bajaj Finance were the one where all the story was all through last week. What's in store for banks now?
See, I think most of the larger cap names, and specifically the charts for HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, they've actually come back into deep oversold territories for themselves, and that's on a couple of fronts. One on the price front, for example, ICICI Bank, which is now close to that 1400 mark. The stock has formed a triple bottom support at those levels, just around that 1400 levels, I think 1390, 1400 thereabouts for the stock on the spot levels. Now, when you see a retest of a particular level twice or thrice in a very short span of time, it generally indicates that the indicators are coming into an oversold territory and the prices are getting into a process of a short-term bounce. Same is the case with HDFC Bank, the stock which has fallen down almost 8 to 10% in the past, I think 3 to 4 weeks. Even that stock, the RSIs for the stock on the short-term charts have come back into oversold territory. So what my sense is that there could be a two-pronged move into many of these banking names. An initial move could be more of a bounce back for many of these stocks from their oversold territories, where the indicators are deeply oversold, and these stocks may rally up, say 2% to 5%, depending on the degree of oversold for many of these stocks. But then I think what matters is for example, the bank Nifty retests the 55,000 mark or 55,500 range, and if it faces resistance yet again, that's where the second round of correction could probably come back into many of these large cap private sector banking names. So I think the strategy has to be two-pronged. One is for short-term traders to play for a bounce in case if they're looking for, say, 2% to 3% kind of a average move into many of these names. And once that is over, I believe then, and if the bank Nifty faces resistance at higher levels, then look out for creating fresh short positions into many of these banking stocks.
All right, that's the day coming in on the banking stocks right now. But along with that, Dikant, help us with your take on the EMS counters as well, and specifically Amber Enterprise, if you can, because in the latest, the company has secured almost 1,200 crores of funding for one of their key subsidiaries from Chris Capital and Incred. But Dikant, the other fact of the matter is that all these companies do trade at a very high valuations. What is your own take when it comes to the EMS sector right now?
These were the fastest growing manufacturing or, make in India companies, and which is why, and see, they have grown also over the last 4 years. So they have been like, the crown jewel in India's manufacturing story. I think they will still continue to be that. And with this whole, the tariff issue and the geopolitical wars, I think government should be coming out with more PLIs in time to come. And then these guys have mastered that art of, especially electronics and electrical kind of manufacturing, and this is where import replacement still has a lot of space. So I think we're positive on this space, but just like you said, the valuations are so high that any short-term negative news also brings in a lot of volatility in the stocks. So I think it's a high risk, high return kind of a game. We generally don't play that game, but whoever has been in that game early, they can continue to ride because growth is what they will deliver.
Okay, that's the space, or rather buzz around the EMS space. Vedanta, of course, is going to be the other newsmaker. But before I address that, let me just mark some of the buzzers from last week. And while, of course, autos were the ones which took the center stage ever since the GST slabs got announced. But other than that, there was a good move in some of the telecom plays as well, be it in Indus Tower, be it in Idea. They shot up quite smartly. Chandan, any trade here, either in Indus Tower or Idea?
So yes, if you look at both the name from Autopic, I believe the Indus Tower, which witnessed sharp decline in the last week, managed to witness some recovery. However, the medium-term structure is weak, but short-term basis it is finding some support-based buying. So I believe with support of 325, it might see a bounce towards 350 kind of level. Talking about Idea, one of the beaten down name, but witnessed decent recovery on the last trading session, and we have noticed that it has been consolidating in a range between almost 6 to 8 rupees from last almost 18-20 weeks. So some support-based buying is visible. Those who are looking for some small swing can play, but it would be tough to move beyond 8.5, 9. So as of now, 6 to 8.5 could be the trading range for Idea. So both are the beaten down name, but support-based buying could provide the immediate recovery or the bounce back in these names.
Right, okay.